It's November. Let's talk about my TBR. I'm struggling today. I'm really trying. I'm struggling. Okay, so I want to talk about my TBR. I have picked some books already. I believe I have 9 books picked. Plus, I have a little stack of some fun nonfiction things that are a little bit different than my normal nonfiction. Things that don't require me to like read them all the way through or listen to an audiobook. And I'll tell you about those because I'm excited about them. And then I'm going to do a random addition to the TBR at the end. I lately have been using my TBR as guidelines, not really hard set rules. This is my things I think at the beginning of the month that I'm really going to want to read, but inevitably the mood reader in me kicks in the middle of the month and I never stick with it. But let's see what we can do. I have made my TBR and posted on Instagram, so if you follow me there, you've seen it probably, hopefully. Instagram's weird. But let's talk through it and talk through my logic and maybe talk a little bit about what these books are about. Briefly, because I don't want this to go on forever. Because I'm supposed to post it tonight. Happy Election Day. I hope you voted. If you're in a place that is currently voting for something, I hope you voted on whatever it is and that you just went out and voted and exercised your rights as a citizen. So let's talk first about the advanced reader copies for ARCs that I have not read that came out in September or October. So we're catching up a little bit. I got very excited about ARCs after not doing them all year and then just got really bad at planning. So I have 2 that I am currently reading. The first one is The Cathedral of the Drowned by Nathan Ballingrud. This is the second book in the Lunar Gothic series. The first one is The Crypt of the Moon Spider. And I read that last year and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't what I expected at all. It started off kind of as like a Gothic story set on the moon, but in the 1920s. So we're in an alternate past where we have like just a shuttle to the moon is like a thing you can do. And there is this mental health facility on the moon, but it's the 1920s. So you know, starting out, it's not good. But what they do is they harvest spider silk from the forest and they fix your brain with it. So we're following a character who's not the primary character from the first book in this second book. These are novellas. And for some reason, I picked this up on the first and I just put it down and I haven't picked it back up. I just have not had motivation for physical reading. And this is what I mean by the mood reader in me. I've been very slow these last few days to read. The Cathedral of the Drowned is the second book in this. I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy it. It took a minute for me to sink back into this world. I'm like 11% in, which is like 10 pages. So we'll see how that goes. I do plan on finishing this by tomorrow evening so that I can talk to you about it before I leave for my trip. I have to, today's Tuesday, and then on Friday morning, I have to be at the airport at 5 a.m. to fly to California for a weekend trip for my best friend's birthday. So I'm trying to get some stuff done before I leave. So hopefully I'll get this one done so I can talk to you about it and we'll see how it goes. So far, it's pretty okay. I'm enjoying it. Second book is The Isle and the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. So this one, since it is already out, I picked up the audiobook through Libby just to help me get through this stack a little bit better. This is the only one that's currently available on audio through my library. And I'm enjoying it. It took me a little bit to sink into it. One thing that I am excited about, and I'll say this before I tell you what it's about, is that it's the same narrator as the Jasmine Throne, and I love this narrator. I did double check because I was like, this voice sounds familiar, but let me check because I've thought that before because apparently I don't recognize voices very well. I always have like a little, this sounds familiar, and then it's like, not at all the same person. It's just someone else that I have heard their voice before, but I got the people mixed up. So this is the same audiobook narrator, and I do like the way that she narrates. However, it's making it hard to not be like, where's Melanie? where's Boudica? Like, where are my characters? So that's making a little bit like of me being like, wait, I'm not in that world. I'm in this world. So this is kind of like, this is fantasy UK. I don't quite know the timeline of when we are at. I can't tell like what era we're in, but we're in a fantasy world. And on this version of the UK, we talk about it as an island, but the only main city we talk about is London. So England, Englandish area. If you are on this island, then you are potentially have the ability to be born an incarnate, which is a reincarnated version of someone who has a legendary tale written about them. And your destiny is to act out that role. And our two main characters, Simran and Veena, are a knight and a witch. And it's a lady knight. It's a buff big lady knight. And it is a snarky, not very willing to be open with other people except for her couple of people witch. And there's all the sorts of layers of this baked into the fact that both of these women are described as someone who is of Indian descent, similar to Tasha Suri herself, and the kind of issues that come with that being in a white European British society. So we're dealing with these types of interactions on top of the fact that they are another twist on the tale, given that this is a sapphic twist on the tale of the Knight and the Witch as well. So it's got some layers to it of things that it's talking about. I think I'm 40% in, so things are finally starting to happen. I'm enjoying it. It was a really slow start. I don't think it's going to be a favorite of the year, but it's been really good so far, and I am looking forward to finishing it probably tomorrow. I have like 3.5 hours in the car tomorrow, so I will probably get a good chunk of it knocked out. And there are 3 other books that I have that I want to get done. The Second Death of Locke. I did actually start this. I read like 6% in, so I'll probably restart it or skim through the pages that I've already read to refresh myself. But this one, everyone kind of went nuts for a little bit when it first came out. This is another Lady Knight, but this is a straight story. So we have a Lady Knight and a man wizard witch guy, kind of. And his whole thing is he uses her as his well of magic. She is a well, and we kind of get the idea that she's like a very powerful well, and he draws on his magic from her, and so she's like bound to him in this kind of military type system that they have. And when I had started, they had literally just got assigned a task that was all secretive, and we kind of know that like she maybe has feelings for him, or at least like really enjoys his company and is like hoping for more. Well, he's like massaging her, like it's like a whole thing, and I was like, oh, we're getting like right into like the tension aspect of their relationship, and that's really all I remember. But I know a lot of people really liked this. I have not read anything from this author before, but I think she did write something last year too that people kind of liked. So then I have Veal by Mackenzie Nolan. I'm gonna look this one up for you because I don't remember this one, and I keep getting the next one and this one. Okay, so it's about this woman who is described as a failed capitalist, and she moves to this small town where she decides to start over, enroll in this university with her best friend, who I don't know if she meets this friend or already was her best friend. And it's known for 2 things: this university and missing women, and or grisly murders. And we have like a missing women's thing, I believe. It says it's for offering the atmosphere of Twin Peaks, which I loved, and the queer camaraderie of the comic strip Dykes to Watch Out For. Veal is a thrilling exploration of friendship, fear, and the thin line between justice and vengeance. So that little blurb sounded like it was up my alley when I agreed to take this as an arc. They did email me and ask if I wanted it, because I believe this is by the same, is this by the same publisher? This is by the same publisher as Grey Dog, which you can see behind me, that I like have been raving about since I read it last year. So they were like, you liked this book a lot, would you like another book from us? And I read that blurb and was like, hell yeah. I've been looking for more things that are kind of like Twin Peaks or like Pacific Northwest Gothic. So I decided to go for it. So this is 288 pages. I only have the digital copy. My library does not have the audiobook. So we'll see how much I can get through it. Hopefully this coming weekend, where I'm planning on doing a lot of reading. We'll see. The other one is The Witch of Willow Sound, which is another one that I don't necessarily remember a whole lot about. The dog is doing something weird. Hold on. So The Witch of Willow Sound is another book by ECW Press as well that they had also offered me in that email. And I said, hell yeah. I looked at the cover and went, hell yeah. And it also said for readers of Our Wives Under the Sea. And I was like, yes. So it's supposed to be like Our Wives Under the Sea, Once and Future Witches. However, it doesn't appear to be queer, which is what I assumed when it said Our Wives Under the Sea. So I'm guessing it's the like missing came back wrong type of thing. It says it's a spooky, atmospheric, and fast-paced feminist tale about women called witches and the parts of our history we'd rather forget. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't know what else it's about. And I'm kind of want to leave it that way a little bit. I've read the synopsis a couple of times. It's just not stuck with me. So let's move on. Those are the arcs. There are 5 of them. I made a little thing for my Instagram. Maybe I'll just pop that image up here so you can see it. The next category is fantasy from my shelves. I don't know where they're at, but I'm going to grab them for you so we can have something pretty to look at. 2 of these I'm finishing with the help of Libby because my audiobook holds came through, which means I have a lot of audiobooks in my queue right now. And so I really need to get moving on things because I have like maximum, I think I have 2 weeks on one of these and like 2.5 weeks on the other one, and I need to get going because I'm still in the middle of The Isle in the Silver Sea. So let's talk first about the one that I will probably listen to first because it's the shortest, and that is Green Rider by Kristen Britton. Is it Kristen or Kirsten? Kristen Britton. I actually don't know a whole lot about what this one is about, but there are multiple people on my Instagram that have loved it and other people that voted that this should be something that I should try to get on my 10 before the end. So that's what we're working on. I was putting it off partially because it starts a series and I already have a bunch of series going on for the end of the year, but we're going to start it and we're going to see if we like it. I picked this up. I thrifted this for like $2. So if I don't like it, I will just not finish the series. So we are On her days-long journey home, Kerrigan Gladian trudges through the immense forest called Greencloak. She's leaving school, or more accurately, she's been asked to leave. Suspended indefinitely, the dean said, and for what? Challenging and thrashing Timmis Meerwell in the practice ring. So we have a strong woman on a horse. Not a lady knight, but a strong horsewoman. So I have the audiobook. So this is next up after I finish The Isle in the Silver Sea. After that, I have Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. Do I want to let Robin hurt me again? I do. I don't think this will hurt me as bad as the Fitz books. We're going back to the Rain Wilds. We're following a new group of people. Too much time has passed since the powerful dragon Tintaglia helped the... I'm not going to read that because it's a spoiler. We're dealing with Tintaglia, who we have met a few times before. And now we're in her world. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because this spoils... the back of this spoils slightly some other series. So I'm looking forward to getting back into this, but I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to say without spoiling things. And the last one from my shelves is The Last Unicorn by Peter Beagle. I actually started reading this last year. I did read the first chapter. I might have done that, I think that was last year. And I ended up not picking this one for my book that I was going to read, but I really wanted to. It's kind of slowly written. It's written in the way that the old fantasies are, where it feels like someone's reading you a fairy tale or a story or something like that, which is going to be good, but it wasn't what I was in the mood for at the moment. So this follows The Last Unicorn. I don't remember the synopsis of this. Here we go. True to the tradition of fantasy, The Last Unicorn is the story of a quest, the search by a unicorn, immortal, infinitely beautiful, for her lost fellows. She is assisted in her mission by Schmendrick the Magician, a kind of poor man's Merlin, whose devotion to the exquisite creature he follows is exceeded only by his mediocrity in magic. A third traveler, fiercely loyal Molly Grew, tries to bring some semblance of order and practicality into the lives of her two mad charges in this wonderfully imaginative and touching tale. So my goal is to finish this month and then rewatch the movie, because I haven't watched it since I was like a small child. So those are the books from my shelves. This will go towards my 10 before the end, because those are all only going to be books that I own. And that will be 5 books off my 10 before the end, which if you're doing math like I am, that means I have 5 books to read in December. But we will address that at the end of this video. Let's go back to my audiobooks. I have one new-ish release that I also got an audiobook hold came through for finally, and that is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Everyone was head over heels for this in the summer, at least everyone I know who loves Joe Abercrombie, or Lord Grimdark as I have seen him called. I am looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fun. It's narrated by the same narrator as the First Law trilogy, who I really love. I love him as a narrator, which is part of why I went, yes, I will pick this up as an audiobook before the end of the year. I know that we're following kind of a slapdash group of people. It reminds me a bit of that DC movie where they like threw all the villains together, kind of. I don't remember which one that is, but it's the one that had Will Smith in it. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'm over the superhero movies thing these days. But it's supposed to, it might lean a little more towards bro humor than I like, but we will see how it goes. I can feel a migraine coming in and I am struggling. And also my friend is Snapchatting me and I keep seeing all the notifications, and they've popped up like 15. So something happened and she's got a long rant for me. Usually we send voice messages, unless something really big, really long happened, and then they are Snapchats. Like, I don't know why. Or if she's like, I need to show you this. Please look at it, but I don't want to clog up your phone with video data. Anyway. Okay. Let's talk nonfiction real quick. So I have one science nonfiction that I'm going to read for the Nonfiction Science Book Club. It's The Mind Electric, a neurologist on the strangeness and wonder of our brains. And it's a short one. I also have this in my audio queue, but it's only a 9-hour book. This collection of medical tales reminiscent of Oliver Sacks and the best medical writing, according to this person, a neurologist reckons with the stories we tell about our brains and the stories our brains tell us. And then there's like a few like things of the stories. So it should be kind of interesting. We'll see. This is for the Nonfiction Science Book Club, which they do have a Storygraph challenge for if you want to follow that. I do have a couple other nonfictions and I think this is kind of fun. So I picked these up from the library. They're due back on the 14th, so I have a little bit more time. still to go through them. So I'm going to take this one on my trip with me this weekend, and this is Sustainable Fashion for Dummies. I've been obsessed lately with trying to find clothes made out of 100% cotton or linen or wool, things that are going to last. I'm getting so mad about things like wearing down and getting holes in them and not holding up, and just the capitalism of it all. I could go on very long rants about fast fashion, even though I don't know a lot about fashion, and I don't really know so many ins and outs of it, but I am tired of the buy it and it falls apart so that you can buy more thing. And it's the Terry Pratchett boots thing, where, paraphrasing, if you have the money to spend on a good pair of boots, those good pair of boots will last you for years. If you don't have the money and you buy a cheap pair of boots, because that's what you can have, you're going to buy multiple cheap pairs of boots over and over again because you can't afford the initial amount of the expensive boots, and you can't save up because you gotta have the boots, because you gotta go to fucking work with a pair of boots. See what I mean? I can go on about this for way too long, and I have been learning so much about the cycle of consumption, especially with clothing, and how that led into us needing washing machines, which then destroy our clothes faster, even though, yes, it saves us more time. But what do we end up doing with that time? We go to fucking work. See? Okay, so I bought this just so I can get a little bit more tools under my belt. I have not cracked it yet. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. But I can get some more tools in my tool belt. I can get some more phrases, more things to look at, more things to understand about how sustainable fashion works, with being not exclusive and exclusionary, I guess, is more. I want sustainable fashion, but I don't want exclusionary sustainable fashion, because that is the other issue, is so much sustainable fashion focuses on small size bodies, and I am not in a small size body, and is very frustrating. So hopefully there will be some inclusivity and things like that here, also excluding out people who can't afford it, because sustainable fashion is actually super fucking expensive. So, and thrifting it is very hard. But this has like tips on how to thrift, how to find things, and how to use what's in your closet. And I'm trying to learn more about being a fashionable girly, because I'm very bad at it, because of my upbringing and things that I will not go into a rant about, but maybe I will if I talk about this book. Okay, I have 2 cookbooks. So I checked this one out from the library. I decided here's another rant, okay? I'm gonna be as short as I can, but apparently we're going on fucking rants. So I was trying to make some apple butter, and I had made apple butter last year or the year before, and I just went to Pinterest and was like, apple butter, because I just needed the ratios. And I did this before, and it worked out great. And I, in my smart little brain, did not pin the recipe I used. I was like, oh, it'll be easy to find. It's just apple butter. Like, so I go to look this year, because my mom gives me a ton of apples from her tree, and she's like, these aren't ripe enough. Can you try and make apple butter out of them? Like, she's like, they're not getting sweet. They're just kind of sour. And I was like, you know what? Some sugar and some slow cooking can fix just about anything. So let me see what I can do. Apple butter is actually, it turned out really good. But I'm on Pinterest and I'm like, apple butter, because I can't remember how much sugar to put in so that the pectin in the apples actually helps make it into that, like, not quite apple saucy, but almost jammy type, that little bit of differences, right? And so I'm looking it up, and the AI slop was everywhere. And I was like, the first few, I was like, okay, maybe it's just an AI picture, and maybe the recipe itself is good, because taking pictures of food is hard, especially if you don't have like the nicest kitchen and things like that, right? So I'm like, maybe it's just the picture. And not that I agree with that, but some people do it, right? No, the recipes were horrendous. They were like, take your apples, throw them in a pot. Congratulations, you've got apple butter. And I was like, how many apples? What do you mean throw them in a pot? Do I have to cut them? What size pot? How long do I cook them? Like, it was literally those types of things. Like, and I'm like, this is an AI recipe. And then the ones that I finally did find, like, how much apples, they were like, don't worry about peeling them. And I'm like, you do have to peel them for apple butter. Like, have you guys never eaten apple butter? And then other ones wanted you to add in weird things like fennel. And I was like, there's no fennel in apple butter. I can maybe see some anise, but fennel? Like, I don't know, man. So I decided I was going to go to the library, and I was going to, every month, I'm going to check out 1 to 2 cookbooks. I'm going to make a few recipes. I guess it's every 3 weeks, because that's how my library works. It's 3 weeks. 3 weeks you get to keep the book. So every 3 weeks, I'm going to go to my library. I'm going to check out a cookbook or 2, and I'm going to make a couple of recipes, and I'm going to write them down. And if I really like the cookbook and think I want to try more, then I will probably order myself a cookbook, and I will just start building up a collection of cookbooks because we love physical media in this house, and at least I do. And yeah, so I got this one, which I had actually checked out on Libby last year and then didn't have time to make anything from. So this is the Zaytun, the Recipes from the Palestinian Kitchen by Yasmin Khan. Love this. You can see all my tabs. These are things that I want to try. The green is things that I want to try. The blue are things my boyfriend, I think, might eat. He has some texture things and like certain things he doesn't eat. He also doesn't eat any fish. He just doesn't like seafood flavors. So I made the falafel tonight. I will let you know how that went, but it smells really good. And I'm like, why have I never made falafel before? It's just freaking chickpeas. Hopefully it works out. And then I have made the... Where is that chicken dish that I made? I made a chicken dish out of here, which my boyfriend surprisingly liked. I was like, what, you like this? Like, and he even ate the couscous with it. And the last time I made couscous, he was not a very big fan. And so he actually tried it this time and he ended up eating the whole serving that he got himself. This is the chicken dish I made. It turned out really good. So, I made the warm maftool salad with za'atar chicken, is what that's called. So I'm going to make a couple more recipes from this. And then if you guys are interested, I will totally talk to you about it at the end of the month because I love this. Like this one has been, I'm probably going to be buying this one. Okay. And then I got a one for, this one's heavy. This is all glossy pages, which is kind of annoying. This is When Pies Fly. Handmade pastries from strudel to stromboli, empanadas to niches by Kathy Barrow. I have a few, again, that I have tabbed. So there's a couple of hand pies in here. I thought do the cheeseburger pies for my boyfriend. And then there's like, I want to try this. It's basically a flatbread. There's some flatbreads, which they're calling open tarts. And it's a banh mi. That one is a banh mi caramel pork tart with jalapenos. I'm like less and less interested in eating meat these days, so some of these I'll probably take the meat out of and make them for myself, and throw in some black beans or chickpeas or something else, or something that'll substitute for the meat, because I just have been not really interested in meat lately. But there's some really good things in here. So this is crisped kale and baked egg tart. Bam. So some of these things look really good. So that's my other one that I got. Not as excited about that one yet because I haven't made anything from it because I just haven't felt like making bread. I've been very busy, but I'm hoping to do that. I have Tuesday off work. So those are my stacks of things, but I thought it would be fun to draw a tarot card, and that'll be our little word for the month. And then I will pick a book from my books that I have not read yet that I think embodies that card. So wish me luck, and I'll be right back. So I forgot these were upstairs. The deck that I wanted to use. This is the Yoshi Yoshitani's, what's it called? I'll go grab the box and I'll tell you the name of it. I can't remember, but it's a really pretty deck and I really like it. I haven't really read, I read tarot again for the first time on Halloween and it's been a long time. But let's see. We'll go with that one. I like to, if a card jumps or tries to jump out, I tend to go with that one. The Seven of Wands. So this looks like, this is all based on mythology. This looks like, who's the guy with the hammer in American mythology that tries to do the, it's the whole thing about, it's the anti-industrialism myth. John Henry? Is it John Henry? Is this John Henry? I think it's John Henry. Right? I was typing and I was like, the American anti-industrial myth. John Henry, I believe. Right? John Henry is an American folk hero. He's said to have worked as the steel driving man. Yes. Because I was like, it's the steel guy. It's John Henry. I'm pretty sure this is John Henry. So let's see what she says about the card. Seven of Wands represents an indomitable force. Against all odds, John Henry stands up for what he believes in and is willing to fight to the I can't talk. The Seven of Wands represents an indomitable force. Against all odds, John Henry stands up for what he believes in and is willing to fight to the bitter end. His courage and resolve is an inspiration even to those who disagree with him. Endurance, attack, fighting for beliefs, perseverance, and mounting a defense. So what do I have on my shelves that could work for that. So this might be a stretch, but this is this is also a set around a similar time, right? This isn't like an American horror. It's an American hero. It's a revenge story, but it says following a Blackfeet Indian named Goodstab as he haunts the fields of the Blackfeet Nation looking for justice. It begins when a diary written in 1912 by a Lutheran pastor is discovered within a wall in 2012. What is unveiled is a slow massacre, a nearly forgotten chain of events that goes back to 217 Blackfeet dead in the snow, told in transcribed interviews with Goodstab, who shares the narrative of his peculiar and unnaturally long life over a series of confessional visits. So we have perseverance in here. And I would like to finish this. I started it. My bookmark's in here. What bookmark's in here? A Guesting of Gnomes is in here. So this is an option. My other option is The Sovereign by C.L. Clarke, which finishes out the Magic of the Lost series, which is definitely a story of perseverance and justice and attack and defense and all of these things. So that one would be my preference, but if I feel more like a horror, I've got this one. So I've got two options. We'll see if I can get to both of them, maybe. But we've got C.L. Clarke or Stephen Graham Jones. So those are my options. So let me know what from this list sounds interesting to you or what you would like to hear about. And if you made it this far, give this a like if you liked it. And I will see you soon with a review of the second book in the Crypt of the Moon Spider series, whatever that one's called, Cathedral of the Drowned.